thing, right? Let's do this. If we both started on the same plane, exactly the same spot, and Venus went around 225 and we go around 365, in a year and a half, Venus will be on the other side of the globe, on the other side of the sun.
Can I ask, is this your best evidence?
Physics and logic on a level supreme. It's a curved reality, splitting Flerf dreams.
Hey folks, how's it going? KRCK here. So part of the debate or conversation that Matt Watcast had with the Flerf Freddo was the Freddo mentioned Venus, and apparently the observations of Venus is some of his best flat earth evidence. Let's have a look and listen and see what Freddo has to say. Let's break this down and then let's expose how he's completely wrong and doesn't understand what he's talking about.
It's the same as Venus for me. And I'd say it to everyone. You know, I saw Venus for 6 months. You can't see Venus and both days. So this is the thing that destroys me and why I became a flat earther, really, because Venus you see at 5 a.m. and I take photos of it at 5 a.m. and then I see it again at 4 p.m. and I take photos of it. Now, I can't see the photos. I just get the star tracker out because the glare's too high. I get star tracker out and I take photos and show people that it's 12 hours later.
Wait a minute, he said that he sees Venus, let's say in the morning, and then later on he you can't see it because of the glare of the sun, so he pulls the star tracker out and then takes pictures. So how does he take a picture of Venus if he can't see it because of the glare of the sun? I mean, if I look up right now, if it wasn't cloudy, because I live in England, the stars are still there, but because the sun is illuminating the atmosphere above us right now, and the sun's so bright, we can't see the stars right now because it's, that's why the sky is blue, because it's the interaction of the blue light spectrum being illuminated by the sun's rays. But at nighttime, when we don't have the sun, we see the stars, and that's why we can see stars, because the sun isn't lighting us up and lighting up the atmosphere around us and interacting with the atmosphere. But the stars don't go away at daytime; they're still there. They're always there. Venus is still there. Venus does orbit around the sun. It's still there. If I put my stellarium on right now and point it up, it's showing me where Venus is and Mercury by the sun. So yeah. That doesn't make any sense, and that works perfectly well on the globe. In fact, that kind of is evidence for the globe, really, because that's kind of one of the ways we were able to measure. First measurements to the sun was a transit of Venus. It happens every 100 and some years or something like that. I'll never see it in my lifetime because it happened fairly recently, and it's unfortunate, but yeah. Yeah, they don't go away just because it's daytime. Stars are still there. We just can't see them.
If where you're facing me now, if you turn around 180 degrees, can you see me? No, you can't. And that's all I say. It makes no sense.
Yeah, that example, Freddo, makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. And that's really stupid and dumb. But this kind of demonstrates how Freddo has no idea what he's talking about and why I can't explain this observation. He doesn't know what he's talking about at all. He's just talking shite.
For me to see Venus for 6 months, it's on my pages. I saw it for 6 months. Globers started to say that, and it was nearly in the same position. And Globers started to say, oh, you're looking at the wrong fucking star. You're looking at everything.
So I'm kind of curious. How did Freddo know he was looking at Venus exactly? And he said you see it for 6 months. But could he really? Because I don't see any observations. He's just making this claim. And probably at one point he was looking at Venus, and then I suspect that either he's lying, as I've already caught him lying about the angle of the sunrise in Australia, or he is looking at the wrong star. Perhaps he put it up and figured he's seen the same star, and then that you looked, and then he's as Venus and all the and things have changed, he's mistook another star. I think he's still looking at Venus without confirming it, because I don't think he has a telescope or anything like that that can confirm he is in fact looking at Venus. And he's just convinced that he can still see it. And he's probably looking at like Jupiter or something like that, another something else that's quite bright in the night sky that sometimes you can see just as it's rising, because Jupiter has been kind of going around and has been kind of close to the sun this year. So that was probably what he was doing, or he's just lying through his teeth. Either one is possible. Well, which one do you think is most likely? Let me know in the comments down below.
And that was the only thing, because Venus has an orbit apparently of 225. So if it's an orbit of 225, if you started, so just hear me out on one thing, right? Let's do this. If we both started on the same plane, exactly the same spot, and Venus went around 225 and we go around 365, in a year and a half, Venus will be on the other side of the globe, on the other side of the sun.
So I think this is where Freddo maybe kind of his understanding is lacking quite a bit, and flat earthers really struggle with thinking in 3 dimensions. Okay, let's just say this rock here is Venus. See if I can here. My head's the sun, right? Because I gotta hold the phone. Right, so at this point here, from Earth, right? See the phone is Earth. You can see Venus move. Look as a sliver. As Venus moves around ahead, right? You can see here. See half. You can see half of it illuminated. As it comes right here, you can see a bit more, a bit more, a bit more. Still gonna see it. And it's gonna look about 3/4 or so, maybe almost full. As you can hear, you're gonna still see it, and then you're probably not gonna see it anymore, right? Because you get to a point, it's gonna come back here, where the glare is too much, but you can still kind of see it, because obviously we're tilted a bit at Venus. I don't know if it's exactly 180, so I think it does move around a bit. So, but if we're tilted here, Venus is going to probably appear like up here or down here. Let's just say it's up here, right? So the sun's going to rise. It's going to rise before the sun, so as Venus, because of our tilt, Venus will look like when it does this. It's still going to, we're going to still see it, because it's still going to rise here before the sun. So it's still going to see it, and then as we come around the tilt, it'll actually still appear, kind of come up on the side, it'll still appear up higher. So we're still going to see it from here, come all the way up, and come around until eventually it gets close to the sun that we can't see the glare. That's several months. That's, we're going to see this. And now I just had observations I took in March. You can look at my astrophotography channel, where I sent a challenge to Mikey Smith to try to recreate my observations with his binoculars and cell phone, because he thinks it's the ultimate in astrophotography. And he still hasn't met those challenges. I think he's eventually done some of them just by inadvertently, and you can see the massive gaps between his observations and mine, and the quality, how low his is, even with his new fancy $400 binoculars. They just are not on par with what a telescope can do, even with mine, which is like a 50-pound eBay jobby I bought.
Can I ask, is this your best evidence?
Well, they're the ones that really.
I know, but what I'm about to say is, because all I hear these days from flat earthers is you can't use the lights in the sky. Don't tell you the shape of the ground.
No, you can do it.
That seems to be your biggest thing.
I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is those two are my bit of evidence that I struggle with. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Right, so that was Freddo's apparently best evidence, right? So now I'm going to show you the observations I took of Venus, which was done in March. And I'm going to show you some stuff from Stellarium from the same time. And I'll show you Stellarium, which uses the globe model, uses the Iverson formula to show accurate observations from the surface of the planet Earth, which is a spherical planet. And show you how that observation is perfectly possible from even the northern hemisphere where I am, to see the see Venus in the morning and the night, and to see it for actually quite a few days, number of days, and probably even a number of months. And I remember he's in Australia, so when I was in March, it was starting to go into the winter time, so they were getting longer nights and shorter days, and my days were going longer. So I can see how this is perfectly possible from like Australia, where he was from, if he was in fact looking at Venus, which I still question because he's never shown any evidence he was actually looking at that particular planet, and about how it could actually have been possible, as I was able to see it day and night for quite a while from UK, where I'm from. So let's check this out. Okay, so this was the middle of March I took this. This is Venus through my Celestron telescope. This is a processed image, so I've kind of gone through and cleaned up a bit so you can definitely see it better. I'll show you some of the video. So here's the video of that taken in stacked images and stuff like that. This is 100% certainly Venus. And I could see this just above, well, it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon I could see this. And it was actually relatively high already in the sky at that point. The sun was just setting. So yeah, this is not something that was hard to see at all. Venus is relatively bright. Obviously, I don't get to see it all the time with my location, and then I have a lot of cloudy skies, so I don't get those nice clear skies as some people do in the world. But yeah, so this isn't a problem at all. And like I said, this is about the middle of March or so where I took this observation. So this is Stellarium, and I kind of looked around the same time. I went back to see as you can just on Stellarium. From my location in particular, I knew more where Freddo was. I do his, but you can see starting at one point here. So this would have been on the 12th of March. And you can see Venus. This is obviously in the morning. I started in the evening, and as you went around, you can see it start in the morning, and you can still see it again. So this shows that from using the globe as a model, this was not a difficult thing to be able to observe. What I'm showing here is just proof of concept. So the fact is that using the globe as a model, we can clearly and easily show that to see Venus in the morning and it's about 12 hours later in the evening is completely possible. So I'll come back out here again and I show it's a wider view. So you see Venus is above the horizon, the sun's already set. And remember, Venus is actually quite a bright object in the sky. And come around here a bit, and you can see how Venus rises before the sun does. So you can see the Venus in the evening after sunset, and then it rises before sunrise. There you are. So it's Venus coming up, sun's still below the horizon, and this is completely possible. So I'm going to switch days here on March 14th, and you can see sunset, Venus is still quite high up. Go around here a bit, and as you come around to sunrise on the 15th, you can clearly see Venus is above the horizon before the sun does, and so you can see it in the evening and then about 12 hours later. Now if we switch days a little bit here, you can see that this is possible for rising, and you can see how it changes slightly, but not a lot. And then on the other side, it would have been obviously just depending where it is, it still would have been the sun was set as Venus was still above the horizon. This shows how it works the globe model. Absolutely perfect. So as you can see there, just using the globe model, which Stellarium uses, you can clearly see, being the model out, that seeing Venus in the evening and then 12 hours later in the morning is perfectly possible on the globe model, and is definitely not evidence of the Earth being flat. Oh, and here's my cat. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to follow me for more videos, and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. I'm going to take him in because he wants his breakfast.
Stuff like that's why people quit flat Earth, dude. You know? That's why people quit, dude.